Discuss with you guys on activity 10.3 on the circuit diagrams that you have done. So let us go through this section here. Now, first one, what is this here?
Light bulb.
Alright, light bulb. And what's the function?
Light bulb.
Alright, you can say that it needs to light up, or number two, you need the light bulb shows that the circuit has been completed.
How about energy user?
Sorry?
Energy.
You can write to show that the light bulb uses energy is also acceptable, because the light bulb here, when it lights up, it indicates to you the presence of electricity. Straightforward. Okay, as long as it's along the line of there is electricity present, energy has been used, it is acceptable. Let's go on to this. So if you have one straight long line and a short one, which one is the positive? The long one here is the positive and the short here is the negative. So what's the name of this component? It is actually just a cell. Ryan, would you want to take over my place here? Okay, good. Now what's the function of this cell? Supplies energy. Fantastic. You can even say it is the energy source for voltage. No problem. How much voltage does a cell normally has, roughly? 1.5 volts. Alright, thank you, Christopher, you're correct. And again, it's only just for one answer, it's not the majority. So sit down. No need to celebrate. Yep. Alright, what about this one here? Alright, this is an open switch. What's the function of this open switch? To stop electricity from flowing. Simple as that. Okay, number two. You have set up the circuit as shown here, and if you have set up it correctly, the bulb should light up. So we go on to the second part here, and we have changed it to this particular, we have changed it to this. Do you think the bulb will light up?
No.
Now tell me why the bulb does not light up. Alright? Don't just say battery. Sure, you have batteries here, 2 cells. But what is wrong with this cell? The negative end is touching the negative end. That means like signs are actually, or like terminals. Thank you, Lisa. Like terminals are connected to each other, which is not supposed to be the case, right? You either connect it this way, or you connect it this way, right? Positive and negative, positive and negative. 2 like terminals can never ever come together, because there will not be any flow. It must be a flow from positive to negative. It's quite simple to magnets as well, north and south. But for electricity, we have positive and negative terminals. Right? How should the batteries be connected to each other? How should they? How will you describe it? Okay, so that means there must be an alternative positive and negative terminals being placed side by side each other, or in a sequence, right? As long as you can tell me that this is the problem, this is my solution, however you want to write it, it will still be acceptable if you write it the correct way. Now the 2 of you over there, if you want to come over and replace me, I'll be happy. Any questions on how to answer this part here? All good. So you basically write, you must have opposite terminals placed in a sequence or in a series. Does that make sense? So positive, negative, positive, negative. You take your time to describe it, especially those who are doing physics for next year. Okay, now let's go on to number 4 here. You have the diagram. Does the switch control 1 or 2 bulbs?
2.
Tell me why. Alright, most of you have identified that the light bulbs are in series. So therefore, by closing the switch, you'll be actually having a current to flow through the 2 light bulbs. Yep. So common sense. Even if we don't do this, common sense will tell you from a schematic diagram like this. that this is what you should be drawing, okay, what you should be analyzing. All right, even for this, does the switch control 1 or 2 bulbs? Okay, good. Again, although it's in parallel, but have a look here. The switch is nearest to your energy source. So if I close the circuit, yep, I have one branch, I have another branch coming through. Now, how do I modify this diagram so that I all have 2 bulbs lighting at the same time, but I can actually switch one off whenever I want it to be? Alright, so you can put the switch in the middle here, because once you disconnect it, this here will still be connected, right? And what about this? You have to put another one too. So you add one switch here and another switch here, so that you can operate. So if I were to draw this, it will be more or less like this. Right? So you have something like this. Right? So it will be more or less like this. Correct? Does it make sense? So you need to place the switch directly next to your light bulb so that you can activate and switch it whenever you want it to be. Right? This is how normally your switches or your lights will function, even in the labs, even in CAMC, wherever in the classroom. So it's a very good practical application. This is good because it trains you where can I close off my circuit, where can I open my circuit, and etc. Okay? Now the last one here. This is a very unique question because it's giving you a situation and you need to read so that you can understand. So, blah blah blah, 3, and you need to set it up. So, if you were to draw it, 2 batteries connected in a series. Again, connected in a series. Okay, so this is fine. The next one. 2 bulbs in parallel, so that means this circuit will be parallel. So you have one, oops, I've drawn a little bit too extra. Okay, so one bulb here and another bulb here. Now, some of you ask me, does it matter if I place my bulb here or etc.? Doesn't matter. As long as you know it is in parallel, doesn't matter where the position is. But what matters here is the next one. You need to have 2 bulbs in parallel connected to another bulb in series. So where do you think it should be? Alright, it should be on the outside circuit over here. So if I were to join over this, right? This is how it should be. And a switch to control all the 3 bulbs. Where do you think I should place it? Alright, just on the bird. Thanks, Ryan. So I should place it somewhere around here, right? Okay. So if I deactivate this, everything will be deactivated. Does that make sense? Okay, so again, take your time to understand this. And we just made it out on time 5 minutes before the lesson. But before we go, I'll just address you and summarize. Yes? Yes? What question?
Teacher, can I draw here?
Yeah, that's completely fine, as long as it's series. Be careful. One is in series.
But it's fine if
2 bulbs in parallel connected to another bulb in series. If that is the case, there's going to be 2 bulbs and 1 bulb parallel to each other. I would say, don't risk it. Put it by the side. Okay? Don't risk it. Yes?
Mm.